Elizabeth "Lizzie" Adams, 42, was a talented and sharp lawyer at the prestigious law firm Sterling and Finch in New York. With a flourishing career, she seemed to have it all: a solid position in the legal world, a renowned reputation from successful cases, and a seemingly perfect personal life with her fiancé, David Miller. David was also a senior colleague at the firm, with a charming appearance and a promising career. They had planned a romantic wedding at an old church in New England, where vibrant maple leaves heralded a future of complete happiness. Everything seemed like a dream come true. Lizzie was known not only for her talent, but also for her steadfastness and courage in upholding justice. She wasn't afraid to confront powerful forces, willing to stand up for what was right no matter how strong the opponent. The Zenith Corp lawsuit, a major corporation accused of serious environmental pollution, was the clearest testament to this spirit. This was not just an ordinary lawsuit, but also Lizzie's personal battle for justice and environmental protection, values she always held dear. David initially appeared to be Lizzie's most ardent supporter. He helped her research documents, analyze the opponent's weaknesses, and offer useful advice. Lizzie trusted him completely, with not a shred of doubt about her fiancé's sincerity. She had no idea that David had deep vested interests with Zenith Corp, and the lawsuit she was pursuing could completely destroy his plans and benefits. As the Zenith Corp lawsuit began to progress favorably, Lizzie gradually noticed unusual signs. Important documents mysteriously disappeared. Appointments with key witnesses were canceled at the last minute for no clear reason, and her internal information was constantly leaked. Lizzie tried to dismiss her suspicions, thinking they were just random incidents or pressure from the opposition. She still placed absolute trust in David and the love they had built. The climax of the events occurred on a rainy afternoon. Lizzie was on her way to meet a crucial witness for the lawsuit. She drove along a winding coastal road with a towering cliff on one side and a raging, deep blue ocean on the other. Suddenly, her car lost control, the brakes failed, and the steering wheel became stiff, completely unresponsive. The car plunged straight down the cliff, the horrific crash echoing through the air. Lizzie felt her body thrown, and then everything went dark. This accident was not accidental. It was a meticulously planned, cold-blooded scheme by David to eliminate her and stop the Zenith Corp lawsuit, protecting his dark interests. When Lizzie woke up, she found herself in an unfamiliar hospital, her entire body aching to the bone. The doctor informed her that she had miraculously survived, but her spinal injuries were severe, requiring a long and arduous recovery process. More painful than the physical wounds was David's complete disappearance. He didn't visit. There was no phone call, no message checking in. The company also provided no information about him. Lizzie's heart was shattered. The man she trusted most, the man she once thought would spend her entire life with, had abandoned her so cruelly. This betrayal was more agonizing than any physical injury. Lying motionless in her hospital bed, Lizzie pieced together all the events, from the unusual signs in the lawsuit to the horrific accident. The cold and cruel truth gradually became clear. David had harmed her, betraying not only their love, but also the values of justice she always pursued. Tears streamed down her face. Her perfect dream had completely shattered, leaving only pain and bitterness. In her darkest days, as Lizzie was consumed by despair and both physical and emotional pain, an unexpected light appeared. Daniel Maxwell, a representative of Phoenix Group, a major competitor of Zenith Corp, came to visit her. He was a middle-aged man with deep, calm, and experienced eyes. His appearance in these circumstances surprised Lizzie and made her wary. Daniel explained that he had been following Lizzie's lawsuit for a long time and was well aware of Zenith Corp's wrongful and unethical practices. He had also thoroughly investigated her accident and realized it was no accident. He offered to help Lizzie, not only financially so she could fully recover, but also with legal support so she could continue her fight against Zenith Corp and seek justice for herself. Initially, Lizzie was very cautious. After the shock and betrayal by David, she no longer wanted to trust anyone. She kept a certain distance from Daniel, listening but not fully opening up. But Daniel didn't pressure her. He patiently listened to her struggles, without judgment, and gradually provided more detailed information he had gathered about David and Zenith Corp. He told her that Phoenix Group had also collected a lot of evidence against Zenith Corp and had enough resources to support Lizzie comprehensively. Gradually, Lizzie began to realize Daniel was completely different from David. He wasn't seeking personal gain or fame. He genuinely cared about justice, about exposing the truth and protecting the environment. Daniel told Lizzie about Phoenix Group's efforts in clean energy, about the core values they pursued, and the difficulties they faced competing with a large corporation like Zenith Corp, which didn't hesitate to use unscrupulous tactics to achieve its goals. Daniel's sincerity, calmness, and determination moved Lizzie's heart. She realized she wasn't alone in this fight. She had found a reliable ally, someone who would help her get back on her feet and fight. It was a major turning point, a glimmer of light at the end of the tunnel in her darkest days. Lizzie's recovery was slow and challenging. She had to learn to walk again, to perform the simplest movements she had previously taken for granted. Every day, Daniel visited regularly. He not only brought fruits and nutritious food, but also books, told interesting stories, and spent hours talking and encouraging her. He was not just a helper, but also a friend, a sincere and understanding listener. During their deep conversations, Daniel told Lizzie about his trips to pristine lands where majestic nature with towering mountains, waterfalls cascading into emerald lakes, and sunlight piercing through forest canopies created dazzling streaks of light. He spoke about the tranquility he found in nature, about letting go of life's burdens and finding inner peace. Daniel's stories not only helped Lizzie escape despair and the haunting memories of the past, but also opened up another world to her. A world not only of suffering and betrayal, but also of beauty, peace, and hope. He not only healed her physical wounds, but also soothed her soul. Gradually, a smile returned to Lizzie's lips, and her eyes became brighter. One day, Daniel took Lizzie to a small coastal village in California, where he had a cozy wooden house nestled among lush green trees. The village was peaceful, with quaint cobblestone streets and charming small houses. The sea was deep blue, waves gently lapping against the soft white sand. "This is where I found true peace," Daniel said, his eyes looking at Lizzie with tenderness. "And I hope you can find it here, too." Lizzie took a deep breath of the fresh air, feeling a strange lightness envelop her. She began to walk on the beach, watching the fishing boats anchored offshore, listening to the gentle lapping of the waves. She started painting, a long-forgotten hobby, and cooking with fresh ingredients bought from the village market. Gradually, Lizzie realized that life was not just about work, fame, or stressful legal battles. She learned to appreciate simple things, small, peaceful moments. She loved watching the sunrise over the sea, feeling the cool breeze on her skin, and listening to the birds chirping every morning. Daniel was always by her side, quietly and attentively. He was always ready to help Lizzie, anytime, anywhere. He taught her how to fish, how to garden, and how to enjoy the smallest things in life. The affection between Lizzie and Daniel gradually blossomed, naturally and gently. It was a deep love, built on absolute trust, mutual respect, and profound understanding. They didn't need flowery words or extravagant romantic gestures. Just being together, they felt complete and happy. After months of diligent physical and mental recovery, Lizzie was finally ready to return to the fight. She was no longer the weak, heartbroken woman she once was. Now she was stronger, more resilient, and more determined than ever. Her goal was not only to seek justice for herself, but also for all those harmed by Zenith Corp. Daniel had prepared everything meticulously. He assembled a team of Phoenix Group's best lawyers to support Lizzie. They had gathered countless new pieces of evidence, including classified documents David had cleverly hidden, and found many more crucial witnesses. Everything was ready for an uncompromising confrontation. The Zenith Corp lawsuit was reopened, attracting public attention. Lizzie, both a talented lawyer and a direct victim of the case, stood before the court telling her story powerfully and convincingly. She did not flinch when facing David, who appeared in court with a cold, emotionless expression. The legal battle was incredibly tense and dramatic. Zenith Corp used every trick and tactic to fight Lizzie, from slandering her reputation to trying to manipulate evidence. But Lizzie did not waver. She had Daniel and his team always by her side, steadfastly supporting her in every situation. In the intense trial, Lizzie presented undeniable evidence, exposing David's direct involvement in her accident and Zenith Corp's wrongdoing. She revealed David's entire conspiracy, clarifying his hidden interests with the corporation. Faced with irrefutable evidence, David was arrested right in court. Zenith Corp also faced a huge compensation payout and heavy penalties for its serious violations. Lizzie's victory resonated not just as her personal triumph, but also as a victory for justice, for the vulnerable who had been harmed by Zenith Corp. Justice was finally served. After the lawsuit, Lizzie decided to leave the stressful and demanding world of law. She realized she wanted a calmer life, closer to nature and her loved ones. Daniel also resigned from Phoenix Group, handing over his work to a successor he trusted. They returned together to the California coastal village, where Daniel's wooden house became their home. They built a small garden together, growing vegetables, flowers, and fruit trees. Every afternoon they would walk on the beach, watching the sunset, painting a corner of the sky red. Lizzie and Daniel's life was filled with simple and warm moments. They cooked, read, and listened to music together. They often invited friends over, hosting cozy small parties. They also actively participated in community activities, helping those around them and engaging in environmental protection efforts. Lizzie was no longer the ambitious lawyer she once was. She had found inner peace, content with the simple things in life. She realized that true happiness was not in fame or money, but in love, family, and peaceful moments with those she loved. Lizzie and Daniel's life in the peaceful coastal village flowed like water over rocks, forming small, clear, and vibrant waterfalls. Every morning they woke up to the chirping of birds and the salty smell of the sea. They drank coffee together on the porch, watching the sunrise over the ocean, painting the landscape with bright colors. Lizzie spent most of her time in her garden, tending to each bed of vegetables and each flower patch with meticulous care and love. Their garden was always green, full of colors and fragrances, not only providing fresh produce, but also a place where Lizzie found tranquility and inner peace. Daniel often helped Lizzie in the garden. The moments they worked together, hands touching, backs close, bonded them more deeply. They didn't need to say much. Just being together, nurturing seeds of love, was enough. In the afternoon, they would walk on the beach together. Lizzie could walk much more easily now, but Daniel still held her hand tightly, helping her over difficult stretches. They walked barefoot on the white sand, collected pretty seashells, and watched seabirds soaring in the deep blue sky. Daniel often told Lizzie about the vast ocean, about ships that had sailed distant seas, and fascinating folk legends about the sea. Lizzie listened intently, her eyes reflecting simple happiness. They often hosted cozy small parties at home. New friends from the village would come, bringing delicious food and interesting stories. Lizzie felt like she had found a new family there, a family not of blood, but of heart. On special occasions, they would drive up into the mountains, where winding roads snaked through vast pine forests. They stopped at viewpoints, admiring panoramic views of lush green valleys and snow-capped peaks. They breathed in the fresh air, feeling the grandeur and splendor of nature. Their favorite spot was a waterfall hidden deep in the forest. Water cascaded from above, creating a misty veil, and splashing droplets formed dazzling, shimmering rainbows in the sunlight. They sat by the stream, listening to the gentle gurgle of water, the chirping of birds, and feeling absolute peace. Lizzie realized that happiness could be found in the simplest things: a good meal, a warm conversation, a walk on the beach, or a trip to beautiful places. She learned to cherish the present, slow down, and enjoy every moment. Daniel also found true peace with Lizzie. He learned to slow down, to enjoy the little things he used to overlook due to work. He loved being with Lizzie, sharing every joyful and sorrowful moment of life. One evening, on the porch, as they watched the stars twinkling in the night sky, Lizzie softly said, "I never thought I could find happiness like this." Daniel smiled, squeezing her hand tightly. "Me neither, Lizzie. You've brought light into my life." They didn't need flowery words or eternal vows, just a glance, a smile, and the warmth of their hands. They understood the deep affection they held for each other. Their love was an ordinary story with ups and downs, pain, but ultimately finding happiness in simplicity. Many years passed, and Lizzie and Daniel continued to live happily and contentedly in the peaceful coastal village. Their love did not fade with time, but deepened. They maintained their simple daily routines, gardening, walking on the beach, and enjoying warm meals together. Though they had no children, they had a large family consisting of close friends, kind neighbors, and those they had helped. Their home was always filled with laughter, warmth, and hospitality. Lizzie gradually became a gentle, experienced, and compassionate woman. She often shared her story, from the pain of loss to her journey to find justice and happiness. Her story inspired many women facing difficulties, helping them find the strength to overcome challenges and rise up. Daniel remained a calm, profound, and wise man. He continued to work for nonprofit organizations, supporting those in need and participating in environmental protection activities. He was a silent hero, quietly dedicating himself to the community. Together, they established the Serenity Fund, a charity dedicated to supporting legal victims and environmental protection projects. The fund helped hundreds of people, bringing justice and hope to unfortunate lives. It was the legacy of their love and compassion. One day, a young woman, a law student, came to visit them. She had heard Lizzie's story about the resilient journey of a talented lawyer who was harmed but rose from the ashes. She wanted to learn from Lizzie, to become a good lawyer, a strong woman, and useful to society. Lizzie smiled gently, taking the girl's hand. "Life is never easy, my dear. There will be times when you face difficulties and want to give up. But always remember, you have inner strength to overcome any challenge. Believe in yourself, believe in justice, and believe in love." The girl listened attentively, her eyes filled with admiration. She knew she had found a teacher, a great inspiration for her future path. As the girl left, Daniel gently embraced Lizzie. "You've created a legacy, Lizzie, a legacy of love, justice, and hope." Lizzie smiled contentedly. She didn't need praise or external recognition. She just needed to know that she had lived a meaningful life, a life filled with love and peace. The sun slowly set, painting the western sky red. The waves still gently lapped against the white sand. Lizzie and Daniel sat together, holding hands, feeling the warmth of love and peace surrounding them. Their story was not just a simple love story, but also a story of powerful resurgence, of a journey to find justice, and of discovering the simple beauty of life. It was a story of healing emotional wounds, of letting go of a painful past to embrace a brighter future. And above all, it was a story of warm family moments where love was an eternal light. Lizzie and Daniel's lives continued in peace and happiness in the coastal village. Every street corner, every path in the village held beautiful memories for them. They often walked through narrow alleys where old houses with unique architecture stood side by side, creating a vibrant tapestry of the village's history and culture. Old maple trees cast cool shadows, creating a peaceful and pleasant atmosphere. Lizzie still maintained her morning gardening routine. She loved the feeling of touching the soil, sensing life sprouting from tiny seeds. The garden not only provided fresh produce, but also a place where she found tranquility and connection with nature. Daniel, after leaving his stressful business career, spent more time on his photography hobby. He captured the beautiful moments of the village, images of fishermen pulling nets early in the morning, the clear laughter of children playing on the beach, or old folks chatting under ancient trees. His photos were precious memories of their simple and warm life. They often organized small picnics in the forest, bringing picnic baskets full of delicious food, a warm blanket, and their favorite books. They found a quiet spot under the shade of trees, enjoying their meal, reading, or simply lying in silence, listening to the birds chirping and the wind rustling through the leaves. Boating on the sea was also one of their favorite activities. Daniel had a small boat, and they often sailed out into the open sea on sunset evenings. They watched the last rays of sunlight reflecting on the shimmering water, listened to the gentle lapping of the waves, and felt the absolute peace of the vast ocean. Lizzie and Daniel were also very concerned about environmental conservation. They actively participated in beach cleanups, tree planting campaigns, and environmental awareness initiatives for the community. They believed that every small action could make a big difference. During holidays, their home was always filled with warmth and joy. They invited friends and family to celebrate, preparing delicious meals together, decorating the house, and exchanging meaningful gifts. These warm family moments were an indispensable part of their lives. Lizzie often told stories of her journey to the village children, inspiring them, helping them believe in themselves and the good things in life. Daniel shared his knowledge of nature and the environment with the children. He taught them to identify trees, birds, fish, and how to protect their surrounding habitat. Their exploratory trips into the forest with Daniel were valuable lessons in ecology and life. Lizzie and Daniel's life was not a romantic fairy tale. It was an ordinary story with ups and downs, pain, but ultimately finding happiness in simplicity. It was these simple things that created a meaningful and fulfilling life. They learned to cherish every moment, slow down, and enjoy every little thing. They found peace and contentment in simple but genuine values. And most importantly, they found true love. A love built on trust, respect, and mutual understanding. As night fell, they sat on the porch, gazing at the twinkling stars in the night sky. Lizzie leaned her head on Daniel's shoulder, feeling warmth and serenity. She knew she had found her place, and Daniel was the man she trusted and loved for life. Daniel gently stroked Lizzie's hair. He knew his life had completely changed since she entered it. She had brought light, hope, and love into his life. They didn't need flowery words or promises. Just being together was enough. That was the beauty of serenity, the beauty of true love.